Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about an action thriller film called Roadhouse from 2024. Enjoy your viewing. Carter takes part in street fights. At this time, Frankie is looking for him. Another fighter stops by the club. His name is Dalton, and he wants to become the best fighter in the club. Carter knows who this man is, so he refuses to fight him, and Dalton takes the money he won. On the street, he is met by a man who lost $500. He stabs Dalton with a knife, but can't pull it back, and runs away. While Dalton is tending to his wounds, Frankie offers Dalton a job at her bar, but he refuses. Before he leaves, Frankie leaves him her phone number in case he changes his mind. Dalton gets tired of his life, so he stops at the railroad tracks, but at the very last moment, he changes his mind and survives. The idea of starting over comes to his mind, and he wants to work in Frankie's bar. At the bus stop, he meets a girl named Charlie, who works in a bookstore owned by her husband, Steven. She helps him find the bar Dalton is looking for. The first thing he does is buy a cup of coffee and meet the bartender. Every evening, many people come to the bar and fights break out between them, but the bartender Billy calms everyone down. A few hours later, a biker gang enters the bar. They don't like the fact that it's very quiet, and they start smashing things, dispersing guests, and insulting girls. Billy comes to the rescue, but the gang boss doesn't like it. Dalton takes the hooligans outside and asks them if their insurance can pay for their broken teeth. One of them starts laughing and immediately gets punched by Dalton. The bikers try to beat Dalton up, but he confidently defeats them. The bikers didn't stand a chance. However, Dalton is a good guy and takes the biker to the hospital. Ellie notices that Dalton has an open wound and offers to help him. Because of this, he stays in the hospital for a while, and people start following him. Upon his return to the bar, Frankie gives him his first paycheck and realizes that he has no place to live. So she offers him a place to live on a boat. He throws away all his unnecessary things and starts to remember his past. Dalton used to be a famous MMA fighter. Suddenly, his thoughts are interrupted by Laura, a bar worker. She tells him that they had a lot of security guards and hopes that Dalton will stay here for a long time. After breakfast, he goes to a bookstore and asks if they have a computer. A fight breaks out in a neighboring store, and a girl tries to kick the bikers out. Dalton notices this, and he goes to help. The bikers are instantly scared and leave. After a while, he returns to the bar and asks why the locals recognize him. Frankie says that rumors spread very quickly here, and all the bikers work for Ben, who wants to close the woman's business, and he doesn't like the fact that only one man beat up his gang. At this time, Dalton teaches Billy the basics of fighting against people with knives, and together they chase away the bullies. Dalton spends all his free time keeping fit. He meets Reef, who help with Billy chase away the bullies. Dalton notices the wounds on Reef's fists and learns that he is a boxer. Now the bar has a new security guard working under Dalton's supervision. The man tries to steal a bottle, but Dalton hints that he shouldn't do that and asks him to go home. On the street, he notices a group of bikers who say they will be back soon. A new day dawns, and Dalton meets Ellie by chance. He asks her why people are so aggressive here. She explains that loyalty is valued here. Even the police cannot always help when you need them. The most important thing is not to cross the path of bad people, otherwise they can do bad things to him. Before leaving, Dalton compliments Ellie. After work, Laura offers to help Dalton walk home, but he refuses. On the way, someone tries to beat him up, but he miraculously survives. Dell suspected that Dalton would survive, so he broke into his house. Dalton wants to know why they are trying to destroy him. Dell explains that it's not about him, it's about the bar. Seizing the moment, Dalton attacks Dell and throws him into the water. But suddenly a crocodile appears and eats the man. The next day, Dalton tries to find out why everyone wants to take over the bar, but he is stopped again by a bandit. Dalton finds out the name of the boss, and if he wants to talk to him, he needs to come himself. Ben is annoyed that a security guard is ruining all his plans. His father realizes that Ben can't do anything about it and turns to Knox, who is shopping for new clothes. Dalton and Ellie go yachting, and she wants to show him her favorite place, a small island hidden under the water. She tells him that Ben belongs to an ancient family that built most of this city. Ellie starts asking questions about Dalton's life. He doesn't like it and wants to run away. Dalton calls Ellie a good person, but she doesn't need to get to know him. However, Ellie knows how to calm Dalton down. Knox arrives in town and meets the biker gang. Ben arrives a little later. Knox immediately passes on a message from his father. Ben asks to give him one more chance, and if he fails, Knox can burn down the entire bar. The police stop Dalton and take him to the sheriff, who wants him to leave town. If he refuses, he will be taken to the police station where he will be destroyed. Laura comes to the rescue and beats the sheriff. It turns out that he is her father. Ellie tells him that her father works for Ben's family and that Gerald is the one in charge. She is sure that now the sheriff is working for Ben. Ellie doesn't want Dalton to die and asks him to leave town. At this time, the bandits are preparing to destroy the bookstore. In the evening, Ben comes to the bar in person to meet Dalton. He shows a video of Dalton fighting with his friend and accidentally destroying him. Ben cannot come to an agreement, and he asks Knox to destroy the bar. Dalton immediately spots the bandits. Billy and Reef try to stop him, but Knox beats them with a bat and calls Dalton by name. He immediately says that he was hired to deal with Dalton, but he won't use the bat because he has enough hands. A fight breaks out between them. Dalton tries to dodge the blows, but Knox doesn't feel any pain and rushes into the fight like a mad animal. Knox is sure that Dalton is trying to restrain himself. They are interrupted by the police. Dalton gathers his things to leave town. Frankie doesn't understand how the bandits managed to scare Dalton. At the bus stop, he notices a ruined bookstore and asks what happened to the girl and her father. The firemen say they were taken to the hospital. Now Dalton decides not to run away, but instead, he personally comes to the house of the Beaker gang. Dalton is not afraid of Knox and his gang, but of what he can do to them. With one punch, he eliminates one of the bandits. To survive, the guy tells Dalton where he can find Ben. Later in the morning, he notices the police unloading the crates. Biding his time, Dalton makes the sheriff's deputy sleep and opens the crate. They are completely filled with money. Dalton takes the officer's gun and shoots the biker. A little later, the sheriff comes to him and asks for the money back because his daughter was taken by Ben's men and they won't return her until he brings the money. Dalton is forced to agree. Knox returns to the biker's house and doesn't understand where everyone has disappeared. Dalton is not going to give the money until he is shown Ellie. However, their negotiations are interrupted by Knox. Dalton presses a button and his yacht explodes. Panic sets in and Dalton runs to find Ellie. The glass breaks and Ellie swims to the surface. Ben spots her and takes her to the yacht. Knox tries to destroy Dalton, but he clings to the rope and crawls onto the boat. He throws Knox into the water and overtakes Ben to jump onto his yacht. Ellie asks Dalton to jump into the water, and then the yacht and Ben fly ashore. By this time, Knox has reached the bridge. After surveying the situation, Dalton finds Ben, who tries to destroy him with a gun. But suddenly Knox crashes into the building. The rematch begins, and this time, Dalton does not hold back, delivering a series of strong blows. Dalton pretends to be tired and catches Knox in his own mistakes. He grabs him from behind and tries to eliminate him. But Knox grabs a sharp stick and gets out of the hold, causing Dalton a serious injury. Ben begins to order him to do his job, and a furious Knox destroys Ben. With the last of his strength, Dalton pulls out a stick and sends Knox to the other side. The sheriff comes out and promises to help Dalton. Before Dalton leaves, he talks to Charlie, and her father finds a bag full of money. But he doesn't have time to ask about how it came to be here. If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klontsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.